You have three sources of retirement income for 401k, Social Security, and a pension. The order in which you start using each one can cost you or save you $200,000 over the course of your retirement. $200,000! And 90% of people do it in the wrong order. Most people think, I'll use my savings first, let Social Security grow until I'm 70, and then retire when I'm eligible. Sounds logical, but mathematically, it's often the worst possible sequence. In this video, I'm going to show you the correct order for most situations, why it saves so much money, the three massive mistakes that cost a fortune, and how to calculate the right sequence for your specific situation. Because there's no universal answer, but there are principles that guide you in making $200,000 decisions. If you are over 55 years old and have at least two of these three sources of income, like this post now, and subscribe to Retire Wise with notifications activated, because this is the most important decision you will make in retirement, and most people have never heard of it. Let's get straight to the point, because the wrong order is costing millions of retirees a fortune right now. First, let's understand what each source offers and why the order matters so much. For 401k or IRA is money that you completely control. You decide when to withdraw, how much to withdraw, and how to invest. But it has two disadvantages. 1. You pay income tax on every dollar you withdraw. 2. You are required to start required minimum distributions, RNDs, at age 73 in 2025, rising to 75 in 2033. Advantage: total flexibility before RMDs. Social Security is a benefit that increases 8% per year between your full retirement age and age 70. You can start at 62 with a permanent reduction, or wait until 70 for the maximum benefit. Social Security is protected against inflation with COLA every year, cannot be depleted, and continues until you die. Main advantage: the longer you wait, the greater the permanent benefit. Disadvantage: you don't control the timing. After 70, the growth stops. Pensions generally have a fixed start date based on years of service and age. Some pensions offer the option to start early with a reduction. Pensions are a guaranteed lifelong income, but generally do not have inflation protection, except for government pensions. Advantage: predictable and guaranteed. Disadvantage: generally does not grow if you wait beyond the eligibility date. Now, why does the order matter? Three main reasons. Reason 1: taxes. Withdrawing from 401k is full taxable income. Receiving Social Security can be taxable from 0 to 85% depending on other income. The order affects how much you pay in taxes over decades. Reason 2: forced RMDs. If you have a large 401k, you are eventually required to withdraw specific amounts at 73. These withdrawals can push you into higher tax brackets. Reason 3: longevity. Social Security and pensions are guaranteed until you die. 401k can run out if you live a long time. Which do you want to consume first versus preserve? The traditional strategy most people use is retire at 62 or 65. Start Social Security immediately to have some income. Live off Social Security plus small withdrawals of 401,000 as needed. Start receiving a pension when eligible, usually at 65. Let most of the 401,000 grow invested. This is the natural approach that seems to make sense, but it has three huge problems. Problem 1: with the traditional strategy, you started Social Security early, so your benefit is permanently reduced. If your benefit at 67 would be $2,500, but you started at 62, you receive $1,750. This difference of $750 per month continues for the rest of your life. 25 years of retirement is $225,000 lost. And that's before accounting for COLA applied to a larger base. Problem 2: you're withdrawing from 401k when it could be growing. Let's say you withdraw $20,000 a year from 401k between 62 and 70. $160,000 withdrawn. But if that money had remained invested, growing 7% per year on average, it would be worth much more. You missed out on massive compound growth. Problem 3: when our NDs start at 73, You're forced to withdraw a large 401k even if you don't need the money. This can push you into a tax bracket of 22 or 24% when you could be at 10, or 12% if you had managed better. So, what's the best order? For most people with 3 income sources, the optimized sequence is from 60 to 70, live exclusively on 401k. Let Social Security grow as much as possible until 70. Let retirement benefits begin at the standard eligibility age, usually 65. At 70, begin maximizing Social Security. After 70, live primarily on combined Social Security and retirement benefits. Use 401k only for extra expenses, emergencies, or tax management. Why does this order save $200,000 or more? Let's calculate a concrete example. John is 62 years old. For 401k of $500,000, Social Security would be $2,500 at 67, $3,100 at 70, pension of $1,800 per month. Starting at 65, annual expenses of $50,000, traditional bad strategy. Starts Social Security at 62, receives approximately $1,800 per month, $21,600 per year. Starts pension at 65, $1,800 per month, $21,600 per year. Total at 65, $43,200 in Social Security and pension. Withdraws $6,800 from 401k to cover $50,000 in expenses. Continues like this for 25 years until 87. Total received from Social Security over 25 years, $540,000. Original for 401k of $500,000 minus withdrawals, plus growth ends at approximately $300,000 at 87. Optimized strategy from 60 to 65. Withdraw $50,000 per year from the 401k, $150,000 in 3 years. At 65, pension begins $1,800 per month. Withdraw the difference from the 401k, $50,000 minus $21,600, equals $28,400 per year. Continue until 70. From 65 to 70, 5 years, $142,000 withdrawn. Total withdrawn from the 401k from 60 to 70, $292,000. At 70, Social Security begins at $3,100 per month, $37,200 per year, plus pension of $21,600. Total, $58,800. Exceeds expenses by $50,000. You no longer need for 401k. Now compare. The optimized strategy results in Social Security of $3,100 versus $1,800 in the poor strategy. A difference of $1,300 per month. Over 17 years, from 70 to 87, that's $265,200 extra dollars received, minus the $35,000 extra dollars withdrawn from the 401k. In the optimized strategy versus the poor one, net result, approximately $130,000 advantage. And what about the 401k in the optimized strategy? It still has approximately $100,000 remaining at 70 because it stopped withdrawing and continued growing its investments. In the bad strategy, it had $300,000. So, the bad strategy has $100,000 more in for 401k, but received $130,000 less in Social Security. Total net result of the optimized strategy, $130,000 better. And that's without considering tax advantages and greater protection against extreme longevity, because higher Social Security cannot end. But there are 3 situations where the order changes. Situation 1. You have poor health or a family history of young death. If you are likely to die before 78, starting Social Security early makes more sense because you may not live to the break-even point. In that case, start Social Security at 62. Use your pension when eligible. Minimize withdrawals of for $1,000 to leave an inheritance or for emergencies. Situation 2. You have a very small 401k, less than $200,000, and you can't live on it for 8 years until you're 70. In this case, start Social Security at 62 or at least 65. Use a pension when eligible. Supplement with for 01k as absolutely necessary. Prioritize not depleting for 01k completely before 73 when our MDs begin. Situation 3. You are married and are the lower income spouse. Your social security is small compared to your spouse's. In this case, you can start your social security early because it doesn't significantly affect your spouse's survivor benefit. Your higher income spouse should wait until 70 to maximize the survivor benefit you will receive when they die. Use the couple's 401k pension to fill the gap while you wait. Now, the 3 traps that destroy even good strategies. Trap 1. Unmanaged taxes. If you withdraw $300,000 from the 401k all at once to buy a house or luxury car at 65, you pay massive taxes that year. Better, distribute withdrawals over multiple years, keeping yourself in lower tax brackets. If you need $100,000 for something big, consider withdrawing $33,000 per year for 3 years to keep your bracket low. Trap number 2, forgetting to consider RMDs. At 73, you are required to withdraw a specific percentage of your 401k. The first RMD at 73 is based on life expectancy. If you have $500,000 in 401k at 73, your RMD is approximately $18,500 in the first year. If you don't plan for this, you suddenly have unexpected extra income and pay unplanned taxes. Strategy: if you know you will have large RMDs, consider doing Roth conversions in your 60s. Converting part of your traditional 401k to Roth IRA. You pay taxes now on the conversion, but then it grows tax-free and you don't have RMDs. Trap 3. Not coordinating with your spouse. If you both have for 401k, Social Security, and pensions, you need a coordinated strategy. Example: one spouse starts Social Security at 60 due. The other waits until 70. One uses for 401k first. The other lets it grow. You are optimizing as a family unit, not as individuals. The honest reality check: this strategy of waiting until 70-70-70-70-70-70-70-70-70-1000-70-thou Sand-70-70-70-70-70-1000-70-1000-70-1000-70-thou Us and -70-1000-year to live requires to things that not everyone has. 1. For 100,000 in for 0 1,000 70,000. And another reality: this is a general strategy. Your situation may have nuances. You may have a pension that offers a large bonus for waiting. You may have a Roth IRA in addition to a traditional for 401k, which changes the tax calculation. You may be planning to leave a large inheritance versus spending it all. Each situation requires specific analysis. If this video showed you that you might be on the wrong track and potentially costing yourself tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, like it now. Share it with anyone between 55 and 70 who is making these decisions. This information could completely change someone's financial trajectory. Subscribe here to retire wise and turn on notifications. I post practical retirement strategies based on real math, not vague theories. And comment below, which of these 3 sources do you have? Which one do you plan to use first? Has your strategy changed after this video? In the description I've included links to withdrawal sequence calculators where you can input your numbers, links to articles about Roth conversions and RMD management, and links to my other videos about Social Security timing and 401k strategies. Look, you've worked for decades accumulating these 3 sources of income. The order in which you use them is no small detail. It's the difference between a comfortable retirement with money left over versus struggling in your later years, or worse, running out of money. The math is clear. For most people with a sufficient 401k, living off that first while letting Social Security grow to 70 saves to 100,000 or more. Don't make the mistake of using Social Security early just because it's convenient or familiar. Thank you for watching until the end here on Retire Wise. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, plan your withdrawal sequence with the same seriousness you planned your accumulation. The right order transforms the same resources into a much better retirement.